Welcome to the Canadian Blind Hockey Podcast. Hello, blind hockey fans, and welcome to episode 7 of the Canadian Blind Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Nico Cardarelli. Today's episode focuses on the up-and-coming young guns in the blind hockey community. The future of this parasport is extremely bright with so many skilled young players competing in blind hockey across the country at all various levels. And speaking of young guns, as most of the blind hockey community knows, one of Canada's top young players and national team member, Alex Angus McEachern, had a scary accident 2 weeks ago. The outpouring of support from the blind hockey community all around the world has been absolutely unprecedented, and we wanted to thank you all for rallying together. As mentioned on our social media channels, AMAC continues to recover, and his healthcare team is very pleased with his progress. Please keep those thoughts and prayers coming, and from all of us at Canadian Blind Hockey, get well soon, AMAC. Well, let's get today's show going as I welcome my co-host for this episode, Toronto Ice Owls and Canadian National Blind Hockey Team member. You might know him as the Whiz Kid. Let's welcome in Joe Fornasier. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. We're really excited to chat with you. Again, I think you're the perfect co-host for the theme of today's episode. You are unquestionably one of the brightest young stars in the game. But Joe, you've only been playing blind hockey for 3 years. You started with the GTA Children and Youth Program in the winter of 2018, and you were immediately promoted to competing with the adults, even though at the time you were only 14. Joe, now at 16 years old, you're the youngest member of the Canadian National Blind Hockey Team. So can you tell us a little bit about your meteoric rise and how the last 3 years of your hockey career have kind of catapulted you to a whole nother level?
Well, I started off obviously thinking I was never going to play hockey again after I lost my sight. I went 5 years without playing. And I remember it was kind of funny because my parents were saying, like, come on, like, come to this blind hockey youth program. Like, it'll be fine. I don't know. I didn't really want to go. I didn't think it would be the same as regular hockey. And I wanted to have nothing to do with it. And they're like, just come once and try it out. And just getting back on my skates again and playing with those, just the youth program, it just felt amazing. I just got that passion again. I could feel it again, which I haven't felt for 5 years. And I fell in love again with the sport. And a couple sessions after, I slowly moved up with the Toronto Ice Owls, and they accepted me like one of their own. Just being in that locker room again and just having that same atmosphere, it was awesome. And it was something that I was 100% missing. And after that, it was just kind of like I was taking it as a joke. Not as a joke, but it wasn't anything insane. And I heard there was a national team, and that's really when I started to take the sport seriously. And after I went to Pittsburgh and watched them, not a member then, I set a goal. I said, next year I'm going to be the youngest player on this team. I put in a lot of work in the summer, did different power skating, started lifting, just started doing everything I could to make that team, and making it and winning that gold medal in Ottawa last year was probably one of the best moments of my life.
We'll definitely touch on a few of your favorite blind hockey memories a little bit later in the show, but you mentioned that it took a little bit of coaxing from your parents to get you out that first time to try blind hockey. But once you did, you were really kind of hooked. You fell back in love with the sport. As someone who also went years without playing hockey, when you get back into it, I completely know what you mean. That first time your blades hit the ice, you smell the ice walking onto it, just all those little elements coming together, and it hooks you back in right away. So I kind of get that. That's pretty cool. But I want to touch a little bit about the importance of family and your dad specifically, because Coach Frank, he's one of our favorite volunteers. He's really made himself a lovable character in the community. Tell us a little bit about that special relationship you have with your dad, and how it's been to share those experiences where you guys are
Yeah.
traveling all over North America and developing each other's skills and helping each other grow.
Sure, yeah, my family's a huge reason where I am in the sport of blind hockey. Definitely built like an insane bond with my dad. He's come to every event. He's been supportive. Never said no when I asked him to go to a tournament, and he's taken time off work to coach me, and he's just been there throughout the whole way. And it's kind of crazy because he always coached me during regular hockey, so we just didn't skip a beat, just got right back out there on blind hockey and tearing it up right now.
Now I'm curious, because you've only been playing such a short time, what do you credit your growth and rise throughout the sport to? Is it because of that relationship with your dad where he's pushing you to be your best, or is it more of an internal thing where you have that hunger?
I think it's everything, because I obviously have that hunger,
Hmm.
but you also need someone to believe in you, and he's always been there. And guys like Luca and Mark and all the Ice Owls and everyone on the national team, they've always kind of just pushed me. I remember in Vancouver, everyone said the first time I went to a development camp, they said, "Hey, like if you push hard enough, I know like you can make it here." I remember in Pittsburgh even, the first time Canada won gold, I wasn't on the team, but I remember Scott Roberts coming up to me one time and he said, "Hey, buddy, you're gonna need to buy a suit soon because you're gonna be out here with us." And I was just kind of like, just those little pushes of motivation. I can't credit everyone. Like, there's just too many people. I can't name them all, but there's just been so many people. I think belief. Everyone needs someone that believes in them, and this community is just amazing. Everyone just gives me so much support all the time, and I think that's a huge reason I am where I am.
Wow, that's really well said. I want to touch a bit more about the national team and that special dynamic that you guys have within that group. Because even though a newer pair sport like blind hockey is a little different than a traditional national team, it's quite the unique build that this team has. Because there's you and Toma Raymond, who are both teenagers on the team. There's four players in their 20s, and then the rest of the team is in their 30s or older. And of course, there's a couple guys on the national team right now in their 60s. So it's a really
Yeah,
big range in terms of the dynamic of the group. With a 45-year age difference between yourself and the most senior veterans on the squad, what's it like having those older guys as teammates and friends, both on and off the ice? And how does that group help you grow personally?
for sure. Like it's crazy that there is like I don't even really think about that, the 45-year age gap, because it doesn't feel like that at all. Like Princess and Skippy, they're just a couple of beauties on the team, and like we don't treat them like anything different, and they don't treat me like anything different. It's like we're just brothers, even though they could be my dad. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's awesome. So many different memories, and they've 100% helped me just through experience. Like Francois Princess, he's been so supportive, and I think he has an insane work ethic, and he's definitely pushed me throughout the years to build my work ethic too, and hopefully get to where he is, because he's just a dog in the gym 100%. And Skippy, same. Me and Skippy at Ice Out, man. Skippy's one of the funniest guys. You know Skippy. Um, and he's just a beauty. We have so many just inside jokes. I'm trying to think of some of them in Tampa Bay. And we were kind of getting killed in one of the games, and the ref wasn't calling anything. We were just getting body checked like an insane amount. And Skippy looks me on the bench. He goes, "Man, I didn't know they were giving out free tickets to the X today. Like we're on a roller coaster out here. Like I'm flying." And then kind of just throughout that whole tournament, if any play happened, he'd come on the bench and be like, "Wow, another free ticket to the X, baby!" And he'd get so excited. And even though I think we were losing like 7-0 in the game, it was just a funny little bond that we have. And then obviously rock out. Skippy's always rocking out, and it's just I don't know. It's great to have that age gap, not even just in a hockey sense, in life. You know what I mean? Because these guys show you, even with a visual impairment, you can live like an awesome life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
look at how successful these guys are, and I think that's really helpful for a young guy like me.
Yeah, that's a great point, and some great role models there in both Francois Beauregard and Joseph Del Grande, in case you don't know them by their nicknames. But yes, two of the more lovable guys on the team and great role models, as Joe just alluded to. I want to touch a little bit more about some of the players on the team that you have that special relationship with a little bit later in the podcast. But some of these teammates that you've looked up to that you're now sitting beside in the locker room, they've been playing blind hockey for 10 to 15 seasons, some of them even longer. And many of these guys have been leaders to help grow the sport and pave the way for guys like you who are the young guns. So, what responsibilities do you and the next generation of blind hockey stars have in terms of growing the game? And what are some of your goals in terms of helping to see the sport of blind hockey grow?
Um, I think we just got to pick up right where they left off and expand on that. Like, obviously, it's difficult to live up to the names such as Mark Demontis, like rollerblading across Canada, to grow the sport. And Kelly, this guy's been everywhere advertising the sport. So it's obviously it's going to be difficult to live up to that expectation, but hopefully, me and the young guys, we can hit that expectation, even go above and beyond. And obviously, the main goal is to just get kids out there playing the sport, as many kids as possible, and just grow the sport. And the final goal is obviously to get to the Paralympics. So really just advertise through social media. That's kind of like our platform. They didn't really have that coming up. So that's why I think we can take what they've done and then really build on that and expand on that, because we have so many more platforms that we can build the sport with now.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, I think one of the most positive aspects about social media is that ability to connect with people thousands of miles away. We've got friends in the community in Finland and in Russia. And, 10, 15 years ago, it would have been very difficult to try keep in constant communication with them. But as you mentioned, with social media now, it's so easy to stay connected to the whole parasport community. And it really does give blind hockey that global family feel. And that's pretty exciting for sure.
Sure.
Joe, you don't just excel on the ice, you actually also find time to volunteer and help coach and mentor with the GTA Youth Program on Sundays. So I'm curious, why do you choose to do that? And why is it important for you to give back your time and support to the association?
Well, kind of what we were touching on earlier is just that place that Mark Demontis and the Kelly Serbos and the U-Haws and all those veterans set. They kind of set a standard, and someone to look up to. And I want those GTA youth guys to have someone to look up to from an early age, just like how I have guys to look up to. I want them to look up to me, and hopefully I'll be playing with them someday. There's a couple beauties at the GTA youth program, and hopefully when I'm older, I'll be seeing them as youngins on the team. And I don't know. I just think it's great to give back to the community in any way I can, and teaching those guys how to skate. It's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I can tell you're already excited for the day when you get to go up to a youngster and say, "Hey, kid, you better buy a suit next season because you're going to be with us."
For sure. For sure.
Well, Joe, we better get this show rolling because it's going to be a great show, but a busy show today because we're going to hear from several other blind hockey players who also have a bright future in qualifying that Young Guns category. First, from the GTA Youth and the W. Ross MacDonald programs, we're going to be catching up with one of our favorites, Joseph Robinson. Then we're going to hear the piano skills of his GTA Youth teammate, Gabby Alves. And then we're going to check in with our player profile from goaltender Rory MacDonald. And that's not it. We're also going to check into the West Coast where we catch up with goaltender Justin Wack from the Vancouver Eclipse. And then we'll wrap up the show by chatting with your national team teammate, the Minister of Defense, Tristan Lindbergh. So, Joe, we got a busy show ahead of us. Let's get episode 7 on the road. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We're now excited to be joined by Joseph Robinson from the GTA Youth and also the W.R. Ross MacDonald School for the Blind hockey programs. Joseph, welcome to the show.
It's good. I'm great to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to chat with you. Before we get into some, depth questions about your career, let's start with some basics. Joseph, how old are you and how long have you been playing blind hockey?
I am 16 years of age and I've been playing for approximately 3 years, I'd say.
That's awesome. So you got in when you were about 13 years old. And, you've got a really unique story because you're maybe one of the only players in the country that plays for two different blind hockey teams. Of course, you play with the W. Ross MacDonald school team where you attend classes. And then on the weekends, you play with the GTA youth program. So I'm
Yes.
guessing, Joseph, you really love the sport of blind hockey.
Yes, I do actually. It's a passion that I've had for dreams. Watched my brother play hockey before and that's what got me interested.
What's your favorite thing about playing blind hockey?
My favorite is the social aspect and just being there for my team and backing them up if they need help.
You mentioned that you got to watch your brother play. He's one of the key volunteers on the ice. How cool is it for you guys to share that experience together? And what's the best part of being on the ice with your brother?
Well, he gets to show me what he knows and I take it up and I show the advice to other friends that on the team.
Now, Joseph, you got a really cool opportunity last summer where you were part of a select group from Canadian Blind Hockey, the players that were invited to the Mitch Marner All-Star Invitational. I'm a big fan of Mitch, so what was it like for you to be there at that event, talking to NHL players and coaches? Maybe what was your favorite memory from that event?
Well, I my favorite memory was I got to see my two best favorite players, which is Mitch Marner and of course John Tavares. Yep.
Tell me why Mitch Marner and John Tavares are your two favorite Maple Leafs.
Okay, so Mitch Marner, if I didn't have Mitch Marner on the Leafs this year, I wouldn't be very happy so I went up to Mitch Marner and I said, "Hey, would you sign with the Leafs again?"
Mm-hmm. And what did he
And he
say?
goes, "Hey, I'll call Kyle Dubas right now."
So wait a minute, are you telling us you could have got a better deal, a more team-friendly deal with Marner?
Yep.
All right, we know who our next Leafs GM is. It's clearly you, Joseph. Now, Joseph, I want to ask you a little bit about the 2019 Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament because
Okay.
you played in the youth division at that tournament, and it was the first ever full blind hockey series for teenagers across Canada and the United States. What was it like for you to be able to play in an actual game with other kids your age?
It was amazing. I got to we got really competitive and it was it wasn't chill. We could go at some speed and have some fun.
What was your favorite memory from that 2019 Canadian National Tournament?
Well, winning, let me say that.
Feels good when that medal's around your neck, eh?
Yeah. At the end of the day, you feel like you did something good for your team.
Who's your favorite blind hockey player?
Well, I'd like to say this. I have one main favorite,
Mm-hmm.
which his name is Alec Angus.
And I think you have a special message you want to share with Alec Angus right now.
Well, Mr. Alec Angus, I hope you feel better, and I'm sorry. I hope you get back on the ice soon so we can play some hockey together, me and you.
Very nice words. Joseph, you're a young man, but a mature man, and we want to thank you for joining us and we echo those well wishes to Alec Angus and the McKechnie family. And yes,
Hopefully
absolutely.
he can recover fast. Hopefully we'll get some recovery.
Yep.
And feel better than he was just a couple of times ago.
Yep, exactly. He's improving, and of course, our thoughts and prayers with him as he continues to get stronger day by day. And as you said, we look forward to the day where we can all get back on the ice together with Alec
And
Angus.
see him.
Yes, you got it. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day and take care, my friend.
And thank you for having me. That was great.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We're now joined by 9-year-old Gabby Alves from the GTA Youth Program. Gabby is here to share one of his special skills aside from blind hockey. And as someone who also plays an instrument, I really appreciate Gabby performing for us as he'll be playing one of his favorite songs on the piano for our community. Gabby, let's throw it over to you.
Hi, my name is Gabby, and I'm going to be playing a Stevie Wonder song, and let's get started.
Yeah, amazing. Gabby, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing that song with us. I'm a big Stevie Wonder fan. I love that song. You did an amazing job there, buddy. I got to ask you, how long have you been playing piano for?
Around 2 years.
Gabby, we really appreciate you joining us. Before we let you go, we know you love to play the piano, but we want to know, what's your favorite thing about blind hockey?
I like when we all when we do teamwork, because it's more fun, and it helps you learn how to play with other kids.
Gabby, if you could tell other kids why they should try blind hockey, what would you say to them?
I would say it's really fun. It's let's see. You get exercised and you get to meet other kids, and it's a great opportunity.
Well, we had so much fun with Gabby that even after his interview, he asked if he could play a few more songs for us. So here's a special performance as Gabby Alves and Luca Demontis perform a duet of Memories by Maroon 5.
Everybody hurts someday, but everything's gonna be alright. Here's to the ones we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Toast to the ones that are here today. And the memories bring back memories. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Now it's time for one of my favorite segments of the show, the Canadian Blind Hockey Podcast Player Profile. During this Player Profile segment, we'll be sharing your blind hockey testimonials. Each week, we'll feature a different player from the community. This episode's Player Profile features an upcoming superstar from the GTA Youth Blind Hockey Program. My name is Rory MacDonald. I'm 19 years old, and I played in both the 2018 and 2019 Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournaments in the Youth Division. I enjoyed the intensity of the game, and it's cool to have the opportunity to play such a well-known sport, even with a visual impairment. The first year I played, I skated as a defenseman, and it was fun going after the puck and clearing the zone. Then, in 2019, I switched to goalie, and I found it was much easier to track my position on the ice. Stopping the puck and making big saves can be quite intense, and it's always a great feeling when I succeed and make a big save for my team. I encourage all blind or partially sighted hockey enthusiasts to try out blind hockey, as it can be quite fun to play. Aside from hockey, I've also done several different sports over the years, including cross-country skiing, rowing, judo, and goalball. I was part of the 2019 Canada Winter Games for cross-country skiing, and that was also a great event to be a part of. I also have a passion for music, and I'm a musician currently studying at the Berklee College of Music for guitar. As well as my love for sports, I also love to perform. Thank you for sharing your love of blind hockey, Rory. Calling all blind hockey players out there to share your blind hockey testimonial with a chance to hear your very own story here on the Canadian Blind Hockey Podcast. Email your testimonial to info@blindicehockey.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm now very excited to be joined by a good friend and one of our up-and-coming goaltenders in the community from the Vancouver Eclipse. Please welcome Justin Wack to the show. Justin, thanks for joining me.
You know, it may have been a mistake to let me on the show. Possibly.
A mistake? I don't know about that, my friend.
I can't believe you guys let me on.
Well, you know, when I saw your name on the rundown, I thought, oh, this is going to be fun because, you know, you and I have worked together one-on-one on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
I know how fun of a guy and how much of a joker you can be. And I think you're a great guest for the episode, of course. Today's episode all about the young guns in the blind hockey community. So, Justin, we do want to thank you for joining us, and we'll try keep this PG rated here throughout the interview.
Absolutely.
So I want to start off with some of the basics, my friend. How old are you and how long have you been playing blind hockey?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel old. I'm about to turn 21. I'm 20 right now. And I have been playing blind hockey for about 2 years. So I started playing with the Edmonton Seahawks, and then I ended up playing for the Vancouver Eclipse. I moved out there for school, and it was a really good decision. And you know, both teams have been just fantastic to play for. So born and raised in Edmonton, and then I moved out to Vancouver for school.
You know, I want to touch on that first time you went out to a try-it session held by the Edmonton Seahawks way back in 2012. The sport was really at a different place then compared to where it is today. I'm just curious about your first impressions from that first try-it session, and then how you've seen the sport grow over the last 8 years.
Yeah, it was crazy because the try session was pretty cool. Like I remember, you know, that was back when the pucks were different. So they had 2 pucks. They had like the metal. It kind of looked like a half puck, half ball type thing. It was like a metal puck. And then I think the guys on the east side of Canada were using a plastic one with I don't know what was inside it, but it was loud. So that was back in 2012, and I remember, like, you know, being 12 years old. I mean, I've been a fan of hockey since I was, you know, basically born. I've been watching hockey for a very long time, so it was definitely pretty cool. First impression. I didn't put on the goalie gear that time, but it was definitely a really cool first impression, and it was always kind of on my radar. Like I was doing judo at a fairly high level, so between that and school, I only had time for kind of one extracurricular, and eventually I decided to kind of switch things up a little bit and join hockey when I was 18. And it's crazy because it was like a completely different game when I joined. Guys were actually back checking. It was amazing. And the sport's just grown so much in the past, like even 2 years since I've been a part. Like now you've got US have a bunch of teams. You got Luca just went to Russia a few months ago. Like it's insane to see where the game has gone in the past couple of years, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting in terms of the growth of the sport within Canada, but as you alluded to, certainly on a global level as well. I want to touch about a little bit on your experience, because you mentioned you first started with the Edmonton Seahawks. You're now a member of the Vancouver Eclipse, and you've played at several blind hockey tournaments. You've attended development camps. You've kind of gotten a good taste of everything that programming has to offer within Canada right now. So I'm curious, what's your favorite part about playing blind hockey?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Honestly, I probably either actually getting to stop pucks, unless they hit you in the little part of your leg that has no padding. That's not too fun, but otherwise it's pretty fun. And other than that, probably I like being in the room with the boys. Like I'm a pretty social guy, so I like to. It's kind of funny because the goalies always get stuck in the corner because we are kind of divas and we take up a lot of space. So, but I like being in the room with the guys, and I'm kind of a loud guy, so I like chirping the boys a little bit and having a good time, and it's a cool atmosphere for sure. And I mean, my brother played hockey growing up all the way through, so I kind of grew up around that atmosphere, right? So it's pretty cool to be able to have that and actually be a player on the team instead of coaching and stuff like that, because I used to coach as well.
So, Justin, you mentioned your brother, and obviously, for those who know, he was part of that tragic incident with the Humboldt Broncos. But can you tell us a little bit about that special relationship and the love of hockey both you and your brother Steven shared?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were definitely always really close growing up. Like we rarely fought. We didn't fight too often, and we got along really well. And we played mini sticks a lot in the basement actually when I was a kid. So I'd have my brother, he'd basically the rule was that he'd get a bigger net, but I'd have the smaller net, and then he'd have the big hockey stick and I'd have a mini stick. So that was kind of the rules that we played with, and because then he'd take like full out slap shots. So I kind of got some training from a young age, and it got to the point where we got a little older and I'd kind of have to wear a helmet in the can because he'd be winging them. So but yeah, no, it's definitely a very special relationship. And I mean, him and all the boys, growing up in St. Albert. St. Albert's actually where I grew up, the suburb of Edmonton. So all the boys in St. Albert, were really, really good. And I helped to junior coach some of his hockey teams until I was probably about 13 or 14. So again, I grew up around that. I grew up in rinks, I mean, when you have a brother that's playing high level hockey, like you're in rinks all the time, right? Like all over Western Canada. So, I had a lot of practice, tracking the puck and like doing everything else I needed to do when I actually came into playing blind hockey, which is pretty cool because a lot of the skills translated over. So, but yeah, definitely a very special relationship for sure.
I'm curious about what your favorite blind hockey memories are so far. I have one of you, and I'll share it after I hear yours. But maybe what are your top two favorite blind hockey memories so far?
Actually, probably both of them came in the Toronto tournament last year. It was pretty cool to get to play against the US. I mean, I was backing up for Canada West, so it's pretty cool to actually get a period in and let a couple in. That's okay. We don't talk about that. And then probably the other one, honestly, was oh man, there's been so many, but probably, I mean, it was pretty cool because you can't really be winning a gold medal, right? Like I'm a very competitive guy, so for me that was a pretty cool experience, and getting to be in that series, and even though I didn't get to play a lot of the series, it was pretty cool to see how the guys do things, and to to be around the boys, and just to have that competitive atmosphere, because I thrive on stuff like that. So
That's pretty cool and definitely special memories, especially, I remember when they had mentioned that you were going to be the second goalie for Canada West. I remember, doing a fist pump and a big smile and thinking, that's awesome. He deserves it. He's worked so hard. And like you said, it's not about how many minutes you're on the ice. It's that whole experience. And that was certainly very cool. But my personal favorite memory of you comes at the 2018 Western Regionals in Burnaby. We were at I don't remember what stage of the event it was, but I remember Jason Yuha coming in on you. It was, I think, the second period of the game, and it was like a 2-on-1, and Yuha scores like 99 times out of 100 on that type of chance. He comes in, takes it to his forehand, and thinks he's got an easy tap-in, and out of nowhere, you flash your left pad and stone him. It was an unbelievable save. We put it on our top 10
I remember that.
Yeah, so personally for me, when you made that save on Yuha, and what really sticks out for me was after he realized you made the save, he came over and kind of gave you a tap on the head, like, nice save, kid. And for me, that'll always be a good memory.
It was pretty cool for sure. I mean, honestly, I got pretty lucky on that because I didn't know that it was him, right? Because you can't see the jerseys or anything. So right. I'm like, okay, somebody's skating in really, really fast. They have the puck. They made the pass. It's probably Yuha. So I'm just going to stick out my pad and hope he shoots that way and doesn't go for top corner. And I got pretty lucky that he didn't go for top corner on that one. So.
Well, they say you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. And on that play, you were certainly both, because that was a spectacular save. And as I said, even though it was a couple years ago, that play will always be in my memory for what a great save you had made. The theme of this week's episode, Justin, is all about young guns and the future of the sport. And we probably could have had you on one of our earlier episodes about parasport athletes who compete in multi-sports, because you've represented British Columbia in goalball and you've been a high-level athlete in multiple sports. So while we could have had you on that show, we're really excited to have you on this show because you're one of the top young goaltending prospects in the country. So what are your ambitions for the future of your blind hockey career?
You know what? Honestly, I think the end goal is to make the national team for sure. And that's definitely, I think, the ambition that a lot of people, strive for. And especially for myself, that's something that I want to do. I mean, I represented Canada in judo as well. And so there's, very special feeling when you get to don that maple leaf and you're representing your country. Right. And I'm very proud to be Canadian. I'm very proud of this country. I'm very proud of, yes, does Canada have things that we need to work on? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, we are all Canada and we are all, extremely blessed to live here. And Canada has given me so much, especially as somebody that is visually impaired, right? Like I have a life that a lot of people in other countries are not as, fortunate to have. So if representing Team Canada for blind hockey is something that I can do in order to say thank you, then that's something that is extremely important to me to be able to do. So I would say that for sure is the main aspiration. And I mean, there's some development that's going to have to take place there. And, there's going to have to be some obstacles to overcome. The guys I are competing with. The thing I love about goalies, complete side note, but the thing I love about goalies is that at the end of the day, we're competing with each other, but because we're goalies, there's so few of us. It's like its own little internal community, and it's really cool to have that, right? Because you can be friends off the ice, and you can compete on it, and it's great. I mean, I remember Warren Weber was actually the reason that I started playing hockey in 2018. Because at first I didn't want to be a goalie, I didn't want to do it, and he's like, "No, just come give it a shot." Like I didn't want to either, and I really liked it, and stuff like that. And I remember I moved to Vancouver and the Eclipse knew that I was moving there, and Gary Steves gave me a call and probably talked to me for about 45 minutes about just goalie gear and what it's like to play there, and just super super good people, right? So I definitely have some big shoes to fill, so to speak, and those guys are all fantastic goaltenders. So just have to keep working on my game, and shout out to Joey Ali as well. He's been a huge help along that road, and at the end of the day, I think the end goal, like I said, is just to represent the national team. And, very proud of this country and very proud to be Canadian.
One of today's inadvertent themes of the episode, we didn't necessarily plan this, it just kind of worked out this way, is how many incredible musicians we have in the blind hockey community. Earlier on today's show, Gabby Alves, the 9-year-old, wowed us with his piano rendition of a Stevie Wonder song. But Justin, you are a recent grad and aspiring musician yourself. I know you've released some singles and you've been doing all sorts of work in the lab. So can you tell us a little bit about your music career and how we can follow along to the work you're doing?
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I part of the reason I moved to Vancouver actually was to go to school for music business. I think it's really important to know the business side of the industry. So I've been writing music since I was 7. I've been producing music since I was 15. And then I went to school for music business. So I've been working, I actually commuted back and forth to LA every 3 months or so once I was finished school. And I'd be working, with different writers and producers and stuff like that out there and around Canada as well. And, just been kind of working. So I write for other artists. I produce for other artists. I'm an artist myself. So I'm pretty much at Justin Wack Music on everywhere, like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on Spotify, just Justin Wack as well. And, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff.
So, Justin, tying in your love of music and hockey together, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your experience at the 2010 Olympic Games, because you had an incredible opportunity to sing the national anthem for Canada's men's and women's Olympic hockey teams. What was that experience like for you?
You know what? It was a really cool experience. I mean, it. I remember actually it was pretty funny because I sang the anthem and then I didn't know they were gonna fly military jets overhead. And for anybody who hasn't heard, like, what are they called? Is it an F-18? Is that what it's called? CF-18. Yeah. Okay. For anybody who hasn't heard those, they are incredibly loud. And I had no idea that they were going to be flying them. I didn't really get the memo because it was also dedicated to the military that night. So so we have, like all these teams, it was the men's and women's team behind us. And, we're like just finished the anthem and the plane flies overhead. And, I'm about to meet like some of the, greatest NHL players in Canada. And like, and I'm 10 years old and I'm like, what is going on? Like, are we about to die? Is everything okay? Like, anyway, but yeah, so it was a good experience though. I mean, we met a whole bunch of people. I remember, meeting Sidney Crosby, Scott Niedermayer was there. That was back when Jerome McGinley was still playing as well. He was a really good guy. And yeah, it was definitely a really cool experience for sure. Haley Wickenheiser was there. And, it's a pretty cool experience for sure. I mean, Haley Wickenheiser actually has continued, I see her at events from time to time and she's been fantastic. She's, she did a lot for the Humboldt stuff as well. And she's just been fantastic. She's just a great person. And, there's been a lot of people though that have been, really, really good people the whole way through. And it's definitely pretty cool for sure to have that experience and to be able to, in my own way, say thank you for winning gold medals and providing some great hockey.
Justin, you've been such a great guest today. Before we let you go, is there anything else you want to say, any shout outs or any questions that you have for me?
Yeah, you know what? I actually just wanted to say, I just wanted to give a shout out to Alex Angus McKechnie. I know he's been going through a bit of a tough time right now. And, at the end of the day, and I noticed this when I went through everything with Humble, at the end of the day, we're a family here in Canadian blind hockey, and leadership has really worked on creating a family atmosphere. And I think it's very important for all of us as a family to kind of band together and support him. And, he's a great guy. I mean, I don't know him. I can't say I know him super well. I played with him in the past and he's been a great teammate. And at the end of the day, it's just, support your friends because, they'd probably do the same if it was the other way around. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him and to wish him a good recovery and, to get better as soon as possible because we want to see him back out on the ice. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. We echo those sentiments. Again, we appreciate the outpouring of support that has been given to Alex Angus and the whole McKechnie family. And if you want to share a message with Alex Angus or his family, you can email us at info@blindicehockey.com, and we'll be sure that Alex Angus and his family receive those messages. Justin, My friend, thank you so much for joining us today. Personally, I'm looking forward to the day when it's safe to get back on the ice and we can do some goaltending training again. But in the meantime, keep up the good work, keep pumping out the beats, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person, I hope.
I'm looking forward to seeing you on the ice as well, and to seeing everybody back in the the blind hockey community, and to get hit in the face by some pucks.
Stay tuned, because after this short break, we're going to be catching up with the Minister of Defense, Tristan Lindbergh. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. For our final guest today, I'm now very excited to be joined by a member of the Edmonton Seahawks and the Canadian National Blind Hockey Team. We call him the Minister of Defense, but you probably know him as Tristan Lindbergh. Tristan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Nico.
Our pleasure. I want to start off with some basics. How old are you, and how long have you been playing hockey?
So I'm 23 years old, and I started playing hockey from about the age of 4 or 5. So I played sighted hockey right up till I was 19 or 20, and then I took a couple years off and started playing blind hockey with the Seahawks, like you mentioned.
So most of your hockey career, throughout your youth, you played at a high level of sighted hockey. But when you did start to lose your vision, what was that transition like, going from sighted hockey to blind hockey?
Yeah, I definitely noticed later on when I was playing junior B that my vision kind of started to impact how well I could play the game. It made things harder and to keep up and try and understand where the play was at times. So switching to blind hockey, it made it a lot easier, and you could kind of obviously always tell where the puck was. And it's nice to be around people that have the same sort of thing going on, because everyone's kind of on the even playing field. So it's definitely been a good transition, I think, for me.
You became a part of the Canadian blind hockey community a little more than a year ago. Can you tell us a little bit about your first experience coming to a Canadian blind hockey development camp when in the summer you came to Toronto to participate? And then we'll touch a little bit more about how quickly you shot up in that camp. But, bring us back to that first development camp you attended in Toronto, and maybe what you loved most about that experience.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I've honestly never really been out east, so just going to Toronto was fun to just be out there. And then meeting, I roomed with Ian Rankin. He's a really great guy, and it was fun to meet him and meet all the other, I didn't know that there were so many blind hockey players across the country. So just meeting all those people and getting to know, just people with the same sort of interests about hockey, it was really fun to be a part of that community. And then meeting the coaching staff and stuff as well. Everyone's really awesome in this community, so that was pretty neat.
Yeah, and I think that whole camp experience was probably a very unique one for you specifically, because you came to that camp. We didn't really know what to expect from you. I don't think you necessarily knew what to expect. I think you only spent one day in the development camp, and then you were basically right away invited to try out with the national team. So what was that like, to be kind of handpicked from the development camp and then given an opportunity to train at the national team selection camp?
Yeah, I'm really happy and grateful for that opportunity, for sure. It happened pretty quickly. Like you said, I was practicing and then I was going over to try out for the national team. It was kind of surreal at that point, but I can't really put it into words. It was just bang, it happened, and I was there trying my hardest to get on the team and ended up making it. So it was it was a good experience though, for sure. I kind of had to just get thrown in and do my thing, so it was good.
I think one of the themes about the national team, it's certainly a theme of the Canadian blind hockey community, the blind hockey community globally, is that it's a big family, but the national team really has this tight-knit group of guys. You guys eat together, you train together. It's when you're in that camp environment, you're doing everything as a group. So what's it like to have that special bond with that group of players?
It's unbelievable actually how quickly and close our team kind of came together. I don't know. It's just, I think everyone has something really in common, which is our visual impairments. And it just kind of helps us grow together. And we all just like being, you know, together, I think. And our group chat's always buzzing and we're always talking to each other in there. And we do our Zoom chats. And it's just a really fun group to be a part of. And yeah, I've never really had a team quite like that. So it's really neat to be a part of. I quite enjoy it.
Off the top of the interview, I mentioned one of the nicknames we have for you, and I think the guys in the locker room have a few others, but the one that I've used on the broadcast is Minister of Defense. I don't know that I ever actually checked with you if it was cool that I give you that nickname. So first of all, are you okay with that nickname?
Yeah, for sure. I like it.
I thought it was very fitting for being in Ottawa. You're a tough defender. I thought Minister of Defense worked out really nicely, but I'm glad you're okay with that. You probably don't even know this. I didn't even actually come up with that one myself. One of your national team teammates suggested that one to me. It was Wyatt Harvey who came up to me in Ottawa and said, "You got to call this kid Tristan the Minister of Defense. We're here in Ottawa. He's a tough defenseman to get around. It's the perfect name for him." So I definitely adopted that one from Wyatt. And Wyatt, thank you for that suggestion.
I didn't even know that. That's funny.
Yeah, Wyatt is actually sneaky good at nicknames. He has given me a couple that we've used on the broadcasts over the years. So keep them coming, Wyatt. Whatever you got, I appreciate it. But it's obviously an affectionate nickname because you're such a big part of that Blue Line 4 Team Canada. I'm curious, what are your personal goals for the national team and maybe the sport of blind hockey?
Personal goals for our national team. I think we just gotta, keep getting better and keep kind of going on that upward trajectory. We don't really want to take our foot off the gas, I don't think, and kind of slow down here. I think we want to keep rolling and getting better every day we can. And I mean, we try and do the team workouts online, and we had our training camp over summer here, and we had some I guess like team building coaches. So I think we've grown more together like that. And then for the sport of blind hockey as a whole, I mean, I think it'd obviously be cool to see it in the Paralympics one day, but I would like to try and grow it here locally too in Edmonton with our Seahawks team. We've tried to start a learn to skate program and just try and build it all over the country. Would be really cool.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, I think we all agree that one day we'd love to see inclusion in the Paralympics. But you echo a great point there that to get to that elite level, you have to have strong grassroots programs. And, I think Matt and Luca and everyone, the board at Canadian Blind Hockey, are very mindful of that. While we want to grow the sport at the highest level, we need to ensure that we continue to develop and recruit and grow at the grassroots levels as well. Tristan, before we let you go, you've been a great guest here today. If you're up for it, I want to do a quick little rapid fire game with you.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start off with who is the best teammate to room with on the national team?
Well, I can only say Kiefer Jones because that's the only person I have roomed with other than Ian Rankin at the development camp. But yeah, Kiefer's a great guy. He's fun to room with, and yeah, I enjoyed Ottawa with him.
I bet a good guy on and off the ice, and yeah, I'm sure he'd be a great roommate. Okay, what is your favorite pregame meal?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm kind of like, I eat anything to be honest, but healthy stuff at least. But no, I like pasta or chicken or I don't know, like salmon and salad, just anything like that to kind of get all your bases in there. Yeah. If there was a favorite though, I'd probably say, I actually am a big sandwich guy, so any sort of sandwich.
Okay. Do you have a favorite sandwich?
I don't know, like a kind of boring, but like a typical clubhouse, maybe. I don't know.
Can't go wrong with that. It's got all the elements.
Yeah.
Okay. You wear number 27. Why do you wear number 27?
Well, it's because I'm born on March 27th, so there's that reason right there, pretty much. So, yeah, and I mean, I do like the number, and there's some good defensemen that have worn it along the way, like Niedermeyer, who I like his game, and like Petrangelo. So there's people I like that have the number as well. So why not?
Couple of good role models there. Speaking of that, are there any NHLers that you try emulate your game after?
I mean, I like Seth Jones. I like how he plays. He's kind of smart with the puck. But I think you guys had alluded to it on game one, Victor Hedman. Yeah, he's a good skating defenseman, and he's always, making plays, and he's good on both sides of the puck. So I think anything like that for me.
Yeah, I think you definitely have a lot of that Hedman style in your game. You're big and tough behind your own blue line, but you can also bring the puck up the ice and create a scoring chance. So, yeah, that's a pretty good comparison there, I think. And lastly, do you have any superstitions or anything that, on game day you're very mindful of?
I wouldn't really say any superstitions. I kind of have a bit of a routine. Like I just like to we all get warmed up pretty easily, or pretty much before every game. But I like to stay back a little bit and do some extra stretching and stuff, and try and get those limbs really limber. But other than that, no superstitions really. Honestly, I I just kind of go out there and try and play. So. Nothing. I'm sorry, that's kind of boring, but
that's okay. Hey, whatever you're doing, it's clearly working. So just stick with your routine and stick to it, and don't do anything out of the norm because you're having a lot of success as it is. So,
all right.
Well, Tristan, you've been a great guest today. We can't thank you enough for your time, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. But I hope you and your family are all doing well and staying safe. And once it's safe, we look forward to being back out on the ice with you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in person again. So it'll be good when we can get all together.
Likewise. That has been the Minister of Defense, Tristan Lindbergh. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this short break. Joe, we want to thank you so much for pitching in today as our co-host for this week's episode. Before we wrap things up, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to get to a rapid fire segment in just a moment. But first, I do this with all my co-hosts here on the Canadian Blind Hockey Podcast. I want to know, what are your 3 favorite blind hockey memories?
3 favorite blind hockey memories. In any order? I don't think I can name an order.
Any
but
order.
One's gotta be just I think my first time at Nationals, just being there. Just kind of like in that atmosphere at the old Maple Leaf Gardens, because the first time I'd really played a competitive hockey game in a long time, and it just, I don't know, like that atmosphere, just being in an intense game. There's no other, like, you can't duplicate that feeling. So I think that's probably one of them. Another one, probably my favorite one's gotta be scoring my first ever goal at the national level in Ottawa. I remember Chula kept telling me, he's like, hey, I'm just gonna rip from everywhere. I got a Matthews shot. He kept saying, I got the Matthews shot. I'm gonna rip from anywhere, just crash the net for the rebound. I'm like, okay. So Lindy passes it to him. He's skating up the wing. Shoots it, goalie makes a save, little toey, went bar down, Selly in the corner, jumped into the board. It was crazy. That's an experience that I'll never forget. I actually fell on the Selly and kind of hurt myself, so it was just pretty embarrassing. But Chula was just so amped, like threw me into the boards. But yeah, that's for sure one of the best. And then I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, but I think winning the cup was kind of crazy. I remember just sitting in the locker room after, like, I don't know, like little tearing up a little bit, you know what I mean? Tears of joy, which doesn't happen too often, from an alpha like me. But it was an insane time, and I was just kind of thinking about all the work I put in, and it was just crazy to think it's a reality. So I think that's got to be one of the best ones too.
Well, those are three pretty special memories for sure. And given that you're one of the young guns here, I think you're going to have lots of time to build many more special memories. But right now, those are three pretty good ones. Joe, you did a great job today. We can't thank you enough for being a great ambassador for the blind hockey community. We're going to wrap things up here. I want to thank you so much for pitching in as co-host today. Before we do say goodbye, we want to give one more shout out to Alex Angus McKechnie, again, who continues to recover from a difficult accident, but his medical team, his family around him, he's getting stronger each day. We encourage you to keep sending your thoughts and prayers and messages of support. Of course, you can email us at info@blindicehockey.com, and we'll be sure that Alex, Angus, and the whole McKechnie family receive those well wishes. But please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And AMAC, we're pushing for you, brother. Continue to get stronger, and we know we'll see you back on the ice soon.
I just want to say, just keep pushing AMAC. Just had so many great memories with AMAC. He was this youngest player on the team before me, so he was kind of like that role model, always looking up to him, always trying to get to that level, and push and be as good as him. Obviously, not anywhere near that level yet. AMAC's an absolute dog. And right when the accident happened, I emailed him and I said, like, I know 100% you're gonna get through this. Like, AMAC is just an absolute warrior. He's a beast on and off the ice. Just great memories with AMAC. So just keep pushing, AMAC. I know you got this 100%, but hope to see you on the ice soon.
Well, folks, this has been episode 7 of the Canadian Blind Hockey Podcast. A big thank you to our guests, Joseph, Gabby, Justin, Tristan, and our co-host, Joe, for their contributions to this week's episode. Folks, thanks for tuning in to today's show. Remember to check out CanadianBlindHockey.com for all the latest, and stay safe. We'll see you next time. Canadian Blind Hockey programs are supported by AMI, CNIB Foundation, Daniel Family Foundation, Electra Health, Mannion, Parasport TV.